Rimuru Go Back in Time by Rimu-chi. Rains and Velzard's arrival. Third person POV. In a serene bedroom, three beautiful figures lay peacefully together. On one side rested a girl with long, black hair and a gentle smile. Her name was Shizu. Beside her lay a girl with dark blue hair, nearly identical to Shizu but with an air of wisdom about her seal, a manifestation known as the manas. Completing this trio was Rimuru Tempest, the void dragon, with long silver hair streaked with platinum blue and striking dragon horns that crowned his head. Rimuru's POV. I woke up to the soft, warm presence of the two who meant the world to me. As my eyes opened, I was greeted by two goddesses, my wives, Shizu and Seal. They must have felt me stir, for they soon opened their eyes, and soft smiles appeared on their faces. Good morning, my beautiful goddesses, I greeted them, feeling warmth flood through me. Good morning, Master, Seal responded, giving me a smile that seemed to hold both wisdom and affection. I must say, I understand why you love waking up like this. Being beside you both, it's wonderful. Good morning, Rimuru-san, Seal-san, Shizu added, her voice tender as she gazed at both of us. She gently reached over and brushed a stray lock of hair from my forehead. Being with you like this every morning, it makes me feel like I'm living a dream. I gently took her hand in mine, giving it a soft squeeze. It's no dream, Shizu. You're both here with me. And I can't imagine starting a day any other way. Shizu's cheeks colored as she gave me a radiant smile, and Seal watched with an amused yet fond look. Then, Ciel's expression turned slightly serious as she met my gaze. Master, she began, her tone gentle but sincere, I have a request. Go ahead, Seal, I replied, sensing something important. I'd like to focus on a personal project, she explained. It would take around 4 to 5 months, and I would need to stay in your subspace to concentrate fully, which means I won't be able to communicate with you. I felt a pang at the thought of not having her around. So, you're saying, you wouldn't be able to stay with me? Yes, she nodded, her eyes searching mine with a hopeful glimmer. But I promise, this project will benefit us all in the long run. So, may I? I looked at her hopeful expression and, with a soft sigh, reached over to touch her cheek. How can I say no to you, Seal? All right, but when you're done, you'll have to make it up to me. Promise. Of course, Master, I wouldn't have it any other way, she replied with a soft laugh, her gaze warm as she leaned into my hand. She then turned to Shizu. I'll leave Master in your care, Shizu. Shizu smiled back at her, nodding. You can count on me, Seal-san. And honestly. She turned to me, mischief sparkling in her eyes. This just means I get to have Rimuru-san all to myself. She leaned closer, her eyes filled with warmth and teasing affection. I could feel my cheeks heat up at her words, a small smile pulling at my lips. Oh. Well, if that's the case, I'll just have to make sure you're spoiled while Ciel's away. That's fine with me, Seal added, a playful smirk tugging at her lips. But just remember, don't go getting pregnant by Master while I'm gone, Shizu. And Master, I expect you to show some restraint. Her teasing words sent a shiver down my spine, though I chuckled in response. Yes, ma'am, I said, feeling my cheeks grow even warmer. With one last lingering smile, Seal slowly faded, her consciousness retreating to my subspace. Shizu and I lay quietly together for a few moments, letting the peacefulness sink in. Then, she turned to me, her gaze soft and filled with something deeper. At that moment my dragon spirit hockey leak a bit. I hide it quickly. Rimuru-san, she murmured, leaning close. Before we start the day, let me give you a memory to cherish. She closed the distance between us, her lips meeting mine in a kiss that was soft but filled with affection. Her hand rested gently against my cheek as the world seemed to fade away for a moment. When we finally parted, I could feel a sense of contentment settle in my heart. Shizu, I murmured, still feeling the warmth of her kiss, you give me the biggest skill I ever had, you know that. She smiled, her cheeks a soft pink. I am glad. She simply replied. After getting dressed, I decided to prepare a special breakfast ramen, Shizu's favorite. As we ate, her face lit up with each bite, and I couldn't help but smile at the happiness radiating from her. Once we finished, we headed out to begin our daily tasks, side by side. Though Seal was temporarily absent, I could feel her presence with us in every step. Before she had retreated, she had given me a new skill, called Informer. Here's a list of its subskills. 1. Analyze and assess. 2. Cast cancel. 3. All of creation. 4. Magic sense. 5. Thought acceleration. 6. Parallel processing. 7. Memory recall. 8. Chant annulment. In truth, it was a slightly simplified version of the ultimate skill Raphael, yet still powerful and practical. Shizu's POV. In the soft morning light, I lay beside the two people who meant everything to me. I could feel Rimuru stirring, his warmth beside me so comforting and familiar. As his eyes opened, I felt my heart skip, and Seal and I smiled at him, our beautiful husband and void dragon. Good morning, my beautiful goddesses, he said, his voice gentle and filled with warmth. The words made me blush, and I couldn't help but reach over to brush a stray lock of his silver hair away from his forehead. Good morning, Rimuru-san, I replied softly, taking a moment to savor this peaceful start. Being with you like this every morning, it makes me feel like I'm living a dream. His hand closed gently around mine, giving it a reassuring squeeze. It's no dream, Shizu. You're both here with me. And I can't imagine starting a day any other way. Those words made my cheeks grow even warmer, and I felt my heart lift. It was moments like these that made me realize how lucky I was to share my life with him and with Seal. She watched us with that knowing smile of hers, amusement glinting in her eyes. Then, a thoughtful expression crossed her face as she turned to Rimuru. Master, she began with her usual grace, I have a request. Seal was always so composed, but I sensed this was important. I stayed quiet, watching as Rimuru gave her his full attention. She explained her need for time to focus on a personal projective project that would take months and require her to retreat into Rimuru's subspace. I could feel the hesitation in his response, the hint of sadness at the idea of not having her with us. But even as he gently touched her cheek, he agreed, because that's who Rimuru was, someone who would give us the freedom to grow, no matter what. How can I say no to you, Seal? He replied, his voice warm but a little sad. All right, but when you're done, you'll have to make it up to me. Promise. Of course, Master, Seal answered with a small, affectionate laugh. She then turned to me, her expression softening as she placed her trust in me. I'll leave Master in your care, Shizu. I couldn't help but feel a little mischievous. This was a rare moment where it would be just Rimuru and me. You can count on me, Sealson. And honestly, I gave Rimuru a teasing smile. This just means I get to have Rimuru-san all to myself. His face colored at that, and I felt a thrill of happiness at the blush that crept up his cheeks. He chuckled, his eyes bright with laughter. Oh, well, if that's the case, I'll just have to make sure you're spoiled while Ciel's away. Seal gave a playful smirk. That's fine with me. But just remember, don't go getting pregnant by Master while I'm gone, Shizu. And Master, I expect you to show some restraint. I laughed as Rimuru shivered under her words, his cheeks redder than ever as he replied, Yes, ma'am. With a gentle smile, Ciel's form faded, her presence retreating to the subspace, leaving Rimuru and me alone. For a few moments, we lay in silence, simply taking in the morning light and the warmth between us. Then, I couldn't resist. I reached over, my gaze locking with his. Rimuru-san, I murmured, leaning closer. Before we start the day, let me give you a memory to cherish. I pressed my lips to his in a soft, lingering kiss. The world around us melted away, and for that moment, it was just the two of us. When I finally pulled back, he looked at me with such affection that I felt my heart swell. Shizu, he murmured, his voice a soft whisper, you've given me the greatest gift I could ever ask for, you know that. I felt a blush spread across my cheeks, and I smiled shyly. I'm glad, I whispered back, the words so simple yet holding so much. We eventually got dressed, and I watched him as he made breakfast. He prepared ramen, my favorite, and with every bite, I felt my happiness grow, knowing that he had put so much care into this meal for me. His smile was gentle, and I could see the pride he felt in making me happy. After we finished, we stepped outside together, our daily tasks awaiting us. Third-person POV. In an ice castle where the strongest demon lord, Guy Crimson, and the true dragon Velzard reside, a beautiful woman with white hair and black eyes sits upon an ice throne. She wears clothes of white and light blue, exuding a serene aura. Beside her stands a maid with dark blue hair, serving her tea. This is none other than the frost dragon Velzard, while the one serving tea is the primordial demon, Blue Rain. Two other powerful beings are also in this castle, the first demon lord, the primordial demon Guy Crimson, and primordial demon Green Misery. Velzard's POV. I sit on my throne, with Rain serving me tea. To be honest, I feel bored. It's been over 200,000 years since I last enjoyed myself. Recently, my brother Veldora's aura disappeared. I suspect he might be dead, so I'm waiting patiently for his next reincarnation. At that moment, I sense an aura, a true dragon's presence. It's not my brother Veldora, nor my sister Velgrind. This one is far stronger than me. But, who could it be? Is something bothering you, Velzard-sama? Rain asks. Not really. I do, however, wish to meet Guy. Let's go, Rain, I reply. We make our way to where Guy is lounging, half asleep, with his servant, the green primordial demon, Misery, by his side. Hey, Guy. Wake up, I yell, startling him awake. Listen carefully. I'm going to Jura forest for a bit. Don't bother me. I'm taking Rain with me, too. Fine, geez. No need to yell, he grumbles. After that, I spread my dragon wings and take flight, with Rain following behind me. Meanwhile, Rain is clearly enjoying her brief freedom. Finally, I get out of that icebox, if only for a little while. Take that, Misery. Ha ha ha, I'm such a lucky girl, aren't I? Rain thought to herself. Back to Velzard. When we reach Jura forest, I'm surprised to find, not just a forest but a city-a-nation. We land just outside the city, and I let out a single word, marvelous. Beautiful. I hear Rain murmur in awe. I look around, but not seeing any immediate danger, I decide to release my aura to make my presence known. Suddenly, I sense something strange and exclaim, my aura. It's sealed. How? Calm down, Velzard-sama, Rain says, steadying me. Just then, I hear a voice. I turn toward it and see a figure standing behind Rain. Who are you? Rain asks, her voice tinged with panic. Calm down, he says with a reassuring tone. I'm not here to harm you. I'm just here to see who entered my nation. The figure has long silver hair with a hint of light blue and golden eyes that seem to pierce my very soul. On top of his head are unmistakable dragon horns, and I sense a dragon's essence from him. Who are you? I ask, stepping forward, noticing Rain blushing. Why is she blushing? He speaks again, introducing himself. Nice to meet you, Velzardchan, Rainchan. I am Rimuru Tempest, a true dragon like you, a bit of a newborn and king of the nation behind you. So, he's a true dragon. But before I can react further, he continues, we can't just stand here talking, can we? With a snap of his fingers, we're teleported to a room. He sits down, and I take a seat as well. Rain stands beside me, her blush deepening. So, tell me, how are you a true dragon? I ask. He stands up, spreading wings of silver, blue, and black. His aura intensifies as he declares, I am Rimuru Tempest, the fifth true dragon, born from nothingness, the void dragon. He steps closer, tilting my chin up so that our faces are inches apart. His eyes glow as he says, nice to meet you, Velzardchan. You're cuter than I expected. Then, he steps back, leaving me blushing. I glance at Rain, who looks like a pouting child. Is she jealous? Rimuru then approaches Rain. She panics momentarily but manages to calm down, though her blush is evident. He gently touches her cheek and says, Rainchan, would you like to work for me? It seems Guy hasn't given you the freedom to be selfish. What do you say? I'd love to, but I can't. My name belongs to Guy-sama, she says sadly. Alright, then I'll overwrite your name, he says. Rain's form begins to glow, and to my astonishment, she evolves into a true demon lord. She looks shocked as he speaks, from now on, you'll be mine. I grant you absolute freedom. Do whatever you desire, Rainchan. Turning back to me, he adds, she now belongs to me, so let Guy know, alright, Velzchan. I nod in acknowledgement. We discuss a few things, and he reassures me that Veldora is safe and under control, preventing him from rampaging again. Afterward, I return to the ice castle, leaving his nation behind. Rain's Pav. I stand beside Velzard-sama, carefully pouring her tea. Though I maintain a composed expression, inside, I can't help but feel restless. Day after day in this frozen castle feels like eternity. It's been over 200,000 years of the same routine, and Velzard-sama and Guy-sama always seem so calm, so indifferent to time. But me, I crave something more. My thoughts are interrupted as Velzard-sama speaks. Let's go, Rain, she says. A thrill runs through me. It's rare for her to want to leave the castle. I don't know why she's decided to go, but I'm excited finally, a break from this frozen monotony. As we make our way to Guy-sama, who's barely awake with Misery beside him, Velzard-sama announces our departure. Listen carefully. I'm going to Jura forest for a bit. Don't bother me. I'm taking Rain with me, too. Gai-sama waves us off half-heartedly, but I can barely contain my joy. I follow Velzard-sama outside, feeling the icy winds around us as she spreads her dragon wings. I follow close behind her, eager for this moment of freedom. Finally, I get out of that icebox, if only for a little while. Take that, misery. When we arrive, I'm shocked by what I see. This isn't just a forest, there's a whole city, a nation even, tucked away here. I can't help but murmur, beautiful. Velzard-sama releases her aura, a magnificent, chilling energy that would bring most creatures to their knees. But then, something strange happens. I feel her aura vanish, like it's been contained, and I hear her mutter in disbelief, my aura. It's sealed. How? Calm down, Velzard-sama, I say, though even I feel unsettled. Then, a calm, deep voice fills the air. My heart skips a beat as I look behind me, spotting a figure I hadn't noticed before. A man with long, silver hair, touched with light blue, and golden eyes that shine with an intensity that makes me forget to breathe. He exudes an aura that's both powerful and, strangely comforting. Who are you? I stammer, feeling an unfamiliar flutter in my chest. Calm down, he says gently, his voice soothing. I'm not here to harm you. I'm just here to see who entered my nation. I can't look away from him. His golden eyes seem to pierce right through me, and the dragon horns on his head leave no doubt he's a true dragon. But something about him feels different. More than powerful. Almost perfect. As he introduces himself, I feel my cheeks warm up, something that hasn't happened in eons. Nice to meet you, Velzardchan, Rainchan. I am Rimuru Tempest, a true dragon like you, a bit of a newborn and king of the nation behind you. We're suddenly transported to a room with a snap of his fingers. He sits down casually, as if this is all perfectly normal, and Velzard-sama joins him, while I stand behind her, my cheeks heating up even more. Velzard-sama speaks first, and he stands up, his presence expanding. He spreads his wings, a mesmerizing blend of silver, blue, and black, so striking it makes my breath catch. His aura grows, and with it, his voice. I am Rimuru Tempest, the fifth true dragon, born from nothingness, the void dragon. In that moment, I feel something within me shift. I realize I'm not just in awe of him, I'm captivated. For the first time, I feel like I'm seeing someone who embodies everything I've longed for: power, freedom, and kindness. I don't even realize I'm blushing until I catch Velzard-sama glancing at me. Then, he steps closer to Velzard-sama, lifting her chin with a gentle hand, his gaze intense as he tells her, nice to meet you, Velzardchan. You're cuter than I expected. I feel a pang of something I can't explain. Is this jealousy? But then he turns toward me, and I forget everything else. He's walking right up to me, and my heart races. His golden eyes meet mine, and I feel as though he can see everything about me, every thought, every hidden desire. He touches my cheek lightly, and I feel warmth bloom there, spreading through me. Rainchan, he says softly, his voice like a gentle current, would you like to work for me? It seems Guy hasn't given you the freedom to be selfish. What do you say? My heart feels like it's about to leap out of my chest. I've never wanted anything more, but I stammer, I'd love to, but I can't. My name belongs to Guy-sama. He smiles, and in that moment, I feel like he understands everything I'm trying to say, even without words. Alright, then I'll overwrite your name, he says, and I'm enveloped in light. I can feel myself changing, evolving. When the light fades, I'm not just a demon lord, I'm something greater, something new. A true demon lord. He's given me freedom, and it feels more powerful than anything I've ever known. From now on, you'll be mine. I grant you absolute freedom. Do whatever you desire, Rainchan. I can barely contain the happiness flooding through me. For the first time, someone has looked past my title, past my loyalties, and seen me. He turns to Velzard-sama, giving her a slight nod. She now belongs to me, so let Guy know. Alright, Velzchan. As Velzard-sama nods, he catches my eye again, and for a moment, it feels like we're the only two people in the world. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that wherever Rimuru-sama goes, I'll follow. He's not just my master, he's someone I've already given my heart to, even if he doesn't know it yet. Rimuru's POV. After Velzard left, I teleported Rain and myself back to my office. Shizu was already there, looking over some documents. As soon as we arrived, Shizu's gaze immediately fell on Rain. Who is she, Rimuru? She asked, her curiosity clear. I gave her a slight smile. Ah, if you remember, I told you about my destined ones. She nodded. Well, she's one of them. Is that so? Shizu murmured, walking up to Rain with a friendly smile. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Shizu, Rimuru's second wife. Rain's eyes went wide with shock, and I could see her blushing slightly. Shizu, picking up on her surprise, added cheerfully, you'll be his third wife soon, so let's be friends, okay? She gave Rain one of her cutest, most innocent smiles, but I could sense an unspoken challenge in her eyes. Rain returned the smile politely. I look forward to it, she replied, though there was a hint of tension beneath her words. They exchanged glances that seemed to say, let's see who's better. Rimuru-san, she's going to stay with us, right? I mean, in the house, with us. Shizu asked, giving me an almost mischievous look. As I nodded, Rain's face turned crimson, almost as if she was about to faint. Yes, she is. Rain, I'd like you to be my personal maid, I added, giving her a reassuring smile. Is that okay? Perfectly fine, Rimuru-sama, she managed to reply, though her cheeks were still flushed. With that, I watched as the two ladies left the office together, Rain glancing nervously at Shizu every so often. After they were gone, I couldn't help but laugh to myself. Oh boy, I wonder what Seal will say about all this. With a sigh, I returned to my paperwork. Later that night, as the evening set in, I made my way home, looking forward to a quiet night. However, as I approached the door, it swung open, and two maids Shizu and Rain stood on either side, bowing slightly. Welcome home, master, they said in perfect unison, their voices soft but playful. I was taken aback for a moment, speechless as they looked at me with mischief in their eyes. What do you prefer? Shizu asked with a smirk. A hot bath. Something to eat. Rain chimed in, her tone equally playful. Then, they both leaned in a bit closer and said at the same time, or, would you prefer us instead? I chuckled and replied, I absolutely prefer you both. After a relaxing bath and a delicious meal, the three of us headed to bed. Rain seemed confident, though there was a hint of shyness in her eyes. I couldn't help but smile as she tried her best to act composed. In the ice castle. Meanwhile, back in the ice castle, Velzard had just returned. She found Guy lounging in his usual spot, and she took a deep breath before explaining everything that had happened with Rimuru. Guy listened in silence, his face unreadable at first. But as she continued, his expression darkened. He overrode her name and claimed her as his. He asked, his voice laced with irritation. Velzard nodded. Yes, and, he's not like other true dragons. There's something different, something powerful about him. For a moment, Guy clenched his fists, but then he took a deep breath, calming himself. A smirk formed on his lips. Interesting. Perhaps this Rimuru Tempest will make a useful pawn for my own plans. Misery's Pav. The icy silence of the castle stretches endlessly, broken only by the quiet sounds of my movements as I go about my duties. I serve Gaisama faithfully, and while I am a primordial Damana being of immense power and pride, there is something oddly grounding about being here. Still, my thoughts often drift to the outside world, wondering if there's something more to existence than these frozen walls. Today, however, there's a strange shift in the air. Velzard-sama has just returned from the Jura forest with a peculiar look on her face. She approaches Gaisama and begins to recount her encounter with an unfamiliar presence, a new true dragon. I remain at Gaisama's side, but my attention is fully on Velzard-sama's words, and for the first time in a long while, I feel something that resembles curiosity. A new true dragon is unheard of. Not only that, but she describes him as powerful, perhaps even more powerful than herself. Velzard-sama doesn't usually show concern, but I sense something different today, something almost akin to respect mixed with wariness. Then she reveals the most surprising part. Rimuru overrode Rain's name and claimed her as his own. The news takes me aback. Rainer, proud and mischievous fellow primordial, has become part of someone else's household, without so much as a hint that she might leave us. Rain has always been independent, but knowing that someone could alter her very essence is unsettling. I glance at Gaisama. His face betrays a flicker of anger, though he quickly masks it with his usual composure. Still, I can feel his aura simmering. Overriding a primordial's name is a declaration of power and dominance, a rare act that demands acknowledgement. It's as if this Rimuru has issued a silent challenge to Gaisama. Yet Gaisama smirks, his anger giving way to a calculating look. Interesting, he says. Perhaps this Rimuru tempest will make a useful pawn for my own plans. Useful. I raise an eyebrow, resisting the urge to voice my thoughts. From what Velzard-sama described, this Rimuru might be too formidable to be considered a simple pawn. But Gai-sama thrives on his own game of manipulation, and for him, all beings, even the strongest, are tools waiting to be wielded. His confidence is unshaken, as always. But I wonder, is this truly a foe he can control? Perhaps this Rimuru tempest is something different. Someone who could break the monotony of this eternal life. The thought is unsettling, yet oddly intriguing.